So to celebrate Halloween and just the big event of horror that we've come to know and love, especially if you're someone who comes to this channel regularly, I thought I would talk about one of my favorite horror games ever, Until Dawn. I'm not going to be talking about the movie or the remake in this video. It's mainly just all about the 2015 release. I also want to give a big shout out to my boy Podcast Now. I'll leave his channel and his video on Until Dawn in the description. He made this video a couple weeks ago and I still haven't watched it because I don't want his thoughts to influence mine. And he likes Until Dawn more than any other horror game. So go check that out. Until Dawn is probably my second favorite horror game behind Alien Isolation, and I've already talked about that game. I think I did that for Halloween last year. Until Dawn is an interactive drama survival horror game developed by Supermassive Games and published by the one and only Sony Interactive. It released back in August of 2015, meaning that this game has already surpassed the 10-year mark, and was originally released just for the PlayStation 4. This game right here is one of the reasons the PlayStation 4 catalog is so beloved by so many people, including myself. Now, obviously, I did mention we got a remake for this game by Ballistic Moon, and there was a ton of problems with it when it released back in October of last year. For what I can see now, most people are enjoying it, so that's a good thing. Now, if you don't know, Until Dawn centers on a narrative of choices and player-driven consequences. This entire game deals with the butterfly effect and how each little decision you make that may not seem important in the moment can completely destroy different characters' lives, and that is a huge theme throughout the entire game. The game is set in Alberta, Canada on Blackwood Mountain, a extremely isolated winter environment. One of the reasons why I love this game so much is its atmosphere is perfect. There are different layers to this environment. You have the snow and just the creepiness that snow and nightfall have in tandem with one another. Basically, if you don't know, snow makes it really hard to hear if something is creeping up on you. So when you're outside in this game, it feels like you're being watched 24/7. The closest game that has ever made me feel the same way to this is probably Alan Wake 2. This game follows 8 different protagonists as they're attempting to survive the night on the mountain. Basically, all of these characters used to be really good friends. Something happens at the start of the game that makes them go their separate ways, and they all get brought back for one more hurrah, and then shit just hits the fan from there. It's funny because this game, I feel like I remember it being huge, and then I tell myself, you know, maybe Until Dawn really wasn't that popular. Maybe it wasn't something that people streamed or recorded themselves playing, and then I go back and watch older videos, and this game was so insanely popular. It was everywhere when it came out. Yes, story-driven games with player-driven consequences was not a new thing, but fuck, if this game did not mainstream the butterfly effect, I don't know what did. After this, I feel like pretty much every game that came out that said it had player-driven consequences was prepared, or not prepared, was what's the word? Compared. That's what I'm thinking of. They were all compared to Until Dawn because the decisions were so important. Personally, I remember watching FaZe Jev's playthrough of this game. One of the funniest, like, just YouTube series of playthroughs on the planet. Jev is just a fantastic creator, and that series made me fall in love with Until Dawn even more than I already had from playing it myself. It's funny because I feel like with narrative-driven, player-driven consequence games, it's hard to toe the line between being a walking and cutscene simulator and an actual video game. And I feel like that's why a lot of people don't give these games credit when the credit is due, because they feel like there's just not enough gameplay to get them enticed. However, Until Dawn is one of those games where I feel like no one really says that. It's weird because I have this nostalgic feeling for this game because it was so important, and I feel like 10 years for a game like this really isn't a long time, but honestly, it really was. This game came out when I was 13 years old. Like, that's crazy to me. You're able to play this game so many different times because you have so many different branching decisions and situations that you can get yourself in. Each playthrough is probably going to run you anywhere from 7 to 9 hours, which which is not a short amount of time for a horror game. I feel like a lot of horror single player driven games, yes, they can have 10 to 15 to 20 hours, but everything in Until Dawn is so tight, the pacing is so good that it feels like a lot longer than 7 to 9 hours, especially if you're doing the sessions in like 1 or 2 hour intervals. Yes, this is a game you could sit down and complete in one sitting. I actually don't recommend that for once. Throughout the entire game, you have to make difficult decisions, whether it's ethical or moral dilemmas, which is something that is so integral with the characters. The protagonists of this game are all acted perfectly, like genuinely so good. The mocap for all of the actors too, it's recognizable when you know the characters from other pieces of work, and they all just are great character actors. All of them feel so real. There are times where some of them don't, for sure. Like, this game is not perfect whatsoever. Like Matthew, Emily, Jessica, and I think Michael at the start of the game don't feel like real people, but as the game goes on, you can genuinely feel the actors evolve with the game, and I just love that. You also have the doctor, I think it's Dr. Alan Hill. He's a psychiatrist that appears at multiple points throughout the game to make you feel like you are going insane, and I think that's so great. And just the twist of this game, I don't want to talk about it because I know that there are people that haven't played this game, and it's one of those games where you don't want to spoil it because you want everybody to play it. But the twist from who you think the bad guy is to what is really going on is so good, and it's just done so effectively and genuinely terrifying. And something that I didn't know until researching this video, and I must have forgotten, is that this game has a extremely strict autosave system. So you're not able to reload from a previous save file to earlier points in the game after you make like a hardcore decision, aka a character death or something like that. You basically have to restart the entire game or complete the game and restart it from that point. And I think that is a perfect decision for a game like this. It really makes you feel the consequences of your actions. And I think that is why, again, this game is so good, because it's all about consequences. You have exploration. Obviously, there are quick time events. You really are meant to walk around and discover clues. And that's why this game is so cool. The details everywhere are just great, and it's honestly just so iconic, not just for PlayStation's catalog, but for horror games in general. Personally, this was the first game that I saw really use the PlayStation controller at the time in a really cool way. There's this whole like don't move mechanic where even if you slightly move the controller, the thing that you're hiding from will hear you. It's actually super cool. It doesn't sound like much now, but honestly, I feel like this game used the PlayStation 4 controller more than most games use the PlayStation 5 controller, besides maybe Astro's World and maybe Spider-Man, but even then, Each ending is great. Each character relationship is great. The music is fantastic. The atmosphere is perfect. I personally think Until Dawn has got to be top 5, maybe even top 3 horror games we have ever gotten. Definitely my personal favorite choice-driven game that we've ever had. I think the only one that rivals it to me, like in my brain, is the first Life is Strange. Like, that's the level I put Until Dawn on, and I like horror more, so it's higher than Life is Strange for me. That's not saying that any other of those games is bad either. Now, do you have to love this game? No. If you love horror and you hate this game, I can see it. A lot of people don't like consequences in games. They don't like games that feel as real as a game like this because they're using games to escape their real life, and I totally get it. For me, though, I think Until Dawn is absolutely amazing. I hope that the rumors about an Until Dawn 2 are true, even though I'm scared of that. I'm not the biggest fan of The Quarry. I liked Man of Medan a lot, and then I haven't really even played the other like choice-driven Until Dawn-esque games. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed Until Dawn and it's one of your favorite horror games, I'd love to hear why. If you had some things you didn't like about the game, I'd also like to hear why. I hope you all have a fantastic Halloween. I'll see you guys in November with a pretty big video. I'm doing a collaboration with Podcast Now and Applersky, so we're gonna have some fun with that next video. This has been Nate, otherwise known as Wicked, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.